Thank you for joining us.
You got it.
There.
Wonderful.
Both in the screen there.
Beautiful. We did it.
I'm Rhonda,
I'm Catherine.
and we are here for anything, everything, and nothing at all. And in the description, I put a mother-daughter team that like to talk.
Yeah, that's basically, I mean, that's all we do.
Yeah, so like the title says, we'll talk about anything and everything.
And nothing at all.
Exactly. Because we have some really interesting conversations. We get along really well.
I feel like that seems very egotistical. Like, we have very interesting, we're very interesting people. People want to hear us talk.
Well, I mean, we've been told that too. I'm not saying that just because I think it, but even in grocery stores and in lines and stuff, people have said you should have a show.
Yes.
Because we start talking and we're just blabbering
Apparently
back and forth.
people listen.
And they listen.
They're nosy Nellies. No, I'm joking.
And you know, you'll see, like, we've seen people laughing and stuff because we're quite entertaining.
When we want to be.
When we want to be, exactly. We're not always on.
We're not always on. Sometimes I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I just ignore every person I see.
Exactly. Yes, I thought I was an introvert, but
Yeah, I take the cake on that one.
you too.
I can hermit away for a very long time. Pretty sure winter's coming, so I'll be gone for a while.
That's right. Have you seen that video of the bear waking up and coming out?
That's, yeah.
The white bear? That's probably her.
That's
coming out of her
accurate. That's so accurate.
apartment.
That's me in the morning when I take the kids to the bus.
Oh. Here are my children.
they're,
Take them.
They're awake and well dressed, and I'm like in whatever I rolled out of bed in.
You're probably lucky you have pants on.
Yeah, exactly. I have left the house with my slippers on, and I've been like realized, and I'm already in the snow, and I'm like, well, that's just the way it's
Whatever.
gonna go.
We're Canadian. We can walk through snow and almost anything.
As long as I have my coffee, I can survive anything.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. So we weren't sure what we were going to do with this. That's why we wanted to give ourselves a lot of space.
Yeah, we don't have a set, I don't know, niche topic.
Yeah.
We're open to suggestions.
We're open to suggestions. If you have any questions, you can look on my YouTube channel and see some of the stuff that I've talked about. It's quite eclectic. A lot of it is in the occult world, but this doesn't necessarily...
No, we're not necessarily
doing an occult thing or anything like that.
this is kind of just... I mean, it doesn't mean we won't maybe touch on stuff just because that's, you know...
Yeah.
If we... On topics that touch on that naturally for us. But,
Exactly.
But it won't be directly for that purpose.
So don't come to this podcast to find how to make a spell jar.
You have another podcast for that.
Yeah,
so there's another
exactly.
one you can go if you're looking
Exactly.
specifically for that one.
Exactly. Now, that being said, we are in the month of October.
October, Halloween.
Halloween. This weekend for us, because we're Canadians, is Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So
For those that celebrate Thanksgiving.
for those that celebrate,
Or who
we're
just
both we both have native
We're
blood
both
in it.
Indigenous.
Yes, Indigenous. I know. They've changed our names so many times that I'm like, whatever. It used to be the Native Department of Canada, and then they changed it to something else in between, and then it's Indigenous, and it's usually stuck in the basement in the corner of some
Yeah,
building.
I
Nobody.
it was hard to find it the one time. You had to like go really far and then sneak into a building basically to find the
I did. I had to sneak in behind someone because she had the secret passcode
secret
to get in,
passcode.
and I just slid in behind her, and then I let my friend in.
And then you wandered aimlessly until you stumbled upon
No,
it.
we came to a part of the building
That you
where-
couldn't get through?
that we couldn't get through because there was a guy at the desk.
Oh, I
security.
remember that.
And we asked him because we'd heard it was supposed to be in this building in the Indigenous Department or
Yeah.
whatever. And my friend, when he said, yes, it is, it's just here, here, and here, we had to go on an elevator and go to it or whatever. She climbed over the counter and grabbed him and kissed him because we've been walking all day looking for this.
Oh my god.
So she was like, thank God.
It's like, finally, we're so close. That would be painful.
So that was quite an adventure. But like I said, it's the month of October, so I don't mind Thanksgiving, to be quite honest.
like the
know
food.
I like the food.
And I like Bob's
and-
Burgers episodes.
Yes, yeah, because it's the next day that she's able to put the
Christmas tree up.
because of course they're celebrating
Yeah.
U.S. Thanksgiving.
They're celebrating, so they're closer to the Christmas than we
I
are.
honestly think it'd be great to have a Thanksgiving in November, maybe not that late.
I don't think I'd want that late. I kind of like having it in October because then you have a month to save for the food, and two, like then you're not
True.
too turkeyed out. Because
That's
even
true,
sometimes
that's
going from
true.
October, because sometimes I switch it up. Like last year, I had a pork roast,
Oh, okay.
which was good.
Yeah.
But I do like turkey. But sometimes you have turkey like. Most
That's
people do
true.
turkey for Thanksgiving,
Yeah, 'cause
and most
it's
people
an
do turkey for Christmas. I mean, not everyone, but like,
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty like standard.
And as an American, you'd have it the end of November and then the end of December.
That's too much turkey.
You're right, because I'm like thinking, well, it would jazz up November a little bit.
Jazz it up.
Jazz it
November's
up.
so boring. We need to jazz it up.
Well, we have two of them. Like we have Thanksgiving, then we have Halloween
Yeah.
in October as
That's-
Canadians.
yeah.
So I'm like, we could have Halloween, then we could have like not that late, like maybe the couple,
Earlier, kind of like how it's
midway
earlier
through.
in Canada.
Yeah,
Have it earlier
yeah.
in November.
I know my brother would love it because his birthday is October 12th. So it's almost always
Always on.
Thanksgiving. So he always had turkey as his birthday
God,
meal.
can you imagine if you hate turkey or you're a vegan? But you're a vegan in a family who all eats meat.
Oh
and then
yeah,
you're like,
so you don't even get the tofu
you don't
turkey
go-
or whatever.
or just one
Although
for
most
yourself.
moms would probably.
I was gonna say,
cook
if
a
it was my
tofu.
kid, I would totally.
Yeah, exactly.
I would cook you whatever you want. Plus, I'd have turkey.
Or like in what was it, Big Fat Greek Wedding? Oh, I'll just make them some lamb.
Yeah.
Um,
No. Although lamb has been on sale this
It
week.
has been.
I know. I haven't gotten any, but I
Oh,
should.
at Food Basics, it's on sale.
Food Basics, No Frills, everywhere has some lamb on sale.
Really?
I've been looking at flyers.
Because usually I click it and send you a picture.
I know.
Speaking of which, click it. We were just talking about the
Oh, the
millennial
click it,
versus
yeah.
Gen Z.
About
signs and stuff
I'm
like
sure
that.
people have seen the videos of like
Yeah.
Gen Zs and millennials and how they pick
And
up
I'm
phones.
like the old fogey. I'm still clicking the camera.
Clicking.
Well, your camera does click. It does.
It does click. You can turn around and click it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it does do. So you're not that far off.
No. But when I do that, I'm thinking of the old.
You're thinking of like
the flash bulb on top and
flash.
it
Wow.
turns.
Okay, now you're getting really old. I'm like thinking like when you see flash bulb, I think like the old school like.
Yeah. Where you wind the
You know,
film
when-
through.
When you go under the dark cape and you tell the person they can't stay and the poof goes up.
Exactly.
It's like how far deep are we going back in the day?
Exactly. Or the old Polaroid where you had to.
You still can do that. Those are coming back now.
Oh, are they?
They're very
Okay.
popular. And the Amazon has gone smart. Like I was telling, when we were kids and Sears came out with the big toy magazine. Amazon's doing that now. So we just yesterday in our mail got the Amazon thing.
Yes.
And so the kids were going through and
And
being like, Mom
circling.
this, Mom that.
That was the best catalog, the Sears catalog.
I know the Amazon one isn't as good, but
No,
I mean,
no. Maybe they'll make
maybe
some
it's the
improvements.
nostalgia and me being like, nothing. Was I was a kid, it was so much better.
Exactly, because you got the winter catalog, which was the clothing.
I was gonna
and
say you got
all
more
that.
than just toys. The
And
Amazon
then
one
the
is
Christmas one, like that's the one every kid was like, yeah.
and it had more than just toys, though. I remember it had
Oh,
like all
yeah.
types of stuff. This one just has toys, just toys.
Oh, okay.
But in one of the parts for like the teens, they have like they had a bunch of the Polaroid cameras because they're really popular, right?
Okay, yes.
But
I remember writing my Christmas list from the Wish catalog and going, just anything on page 12.
yeah, I remember being like, okay, it's like I like too many of this, so let's just circle this whole page. Anything on this page, ideally everything. On this
Ideally,
page.
everything. Yes.
I think I've been a pretty good kid, and I think Santa can recognize that I've been a great kid, and he would see the value I bring to this family, so I deserve all of this stuff.
By the end of it, you've got like about 20 pages.
You've got
that
like
you just
you've got like
referenced.
30 grand of toys circled, and like no way. I was already telling the kids I was already telling them well, Mom would circle everything, lots of stuff, but you don't get everything on the list. You only and they're
just
like
because you circle it doesn't mean you
exactly,
get it.
and they were like, oh yeah, I know you only get some stuff. I'm like,
Right,
yeah, that's
yeah,
right. We only
yeah.
set up the expectation now, so they're not like.
Was there something that you really coveted though? Like for me, it was the big ass spirograph thing. My
yeah.
parents would buy me the smaller versions,
Yeah.
but I wanted the big one. Of course, that was like $70, so it was like way too expensive for back then.
I'm just trying to remember if I really coveted. I feel like I don't remember a lot of
That
my
you never
childhood.
really got or whatever.
I feel like I think I do think I maybe did get one, but I don't know if it was as fancy. An Easy Bake Oven. I always want, or a
Oh.
Furby was another one. I never got a Furby. Everyone else
Oh.
got Furbies, and I'm like, I want a Furby so bad. They're coming back now, and we'll ask for one. And it's $100 damn.
Oh, maybe that's why we didn't get it for
I
you.
think they were expensive back then too. I mean, honestly, they're kind of creepy.
Right.
So now I'd be like, I'm kind of glad I didn't get one because they're really annoying and creepy. But at the time, I'd be like, I want a Furby because it's a live stuffy, which at that time was,
Yeah, very cool.
very
of course,
cool and
yeah.
innovative and unique and special.
Cutting
and
edge.
cutting
even.
edge. Nowadays, that's just normal.
Yeah.
A robot stuffy. Old news.
Because they got robot dogs and cats.
Yeah.
now,
Well,
and-
one of the things that kids want is like this digital pet, which I'm like, what the hell is a digital pet? But
Remember
it's
when you had those little keychains?
the Tamagotchis?
Yes. And you'd give them to me to take care of. You and myself both had one. And one day I was doing both of them at one
I don't
point.
remember that all, but
I was like,
would-
I gotta feed these things.
I
You
know. We said,
Because
oh.
I was so terrified of
It
you guys
died.
coming home and it's dead and I killed it. And
Your mother killed your digital pet. Well, like they have stuff like that. Tamagotchis are coming back. Everything's coming back,
but
right?
probably way more because it was just black and white.
It's just black and white. I think they still have just the black and white ones, but I think they might have fancier ones. But there's this one. What is it? Bitsy, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in this boxing. I don't understand it, but the kids.
That's what I felt I was saying about a lot of
don't
your
understand it.
toys.
But it's
I
like-
don't understand it, but
It's almost holographic. Like it's like a pet, but it's kind of like like the 8-bit kind of pixely kind
Okay.
of look.
right.
And it's not like flat. It's in a box. I don't know how to explain this. I'm not
Okay.
explaining it well. But if you see it, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. If you see it, it'll make sense.
Right.
But it's supposed to have like, I don't know if you're supposed to feed the pet or if it just has games. I don't know. But they're
Right.
into that.
Right.
But
Right.
it made me think of like Tamagotchi. But I'm like, it's massive. So like, how are you supposed to play with this thing? I don't really understand. And so it
okay.
didn't seem as handheld. It's in a box.
Right. Right.
And so I don't know what it does.
yeah, maybe you'll find out.
Maybe I'll find
If
out. It
Santa
is on.
puts
It is
one
on.
under the tree.
It is on the list, and it was only $25 at Costco. So maybe
Oh, there
we'll-
you go. Reasonable.
Reasonable, much cheaper than Amazon.
Yeah, yeah. But it's funny how, like as much as I wanted Spirograph, for instance, even the smaller ones, I would play with it for like 15 minutes
And then be done with it.
Yeah.
100%.
It was like, yeah, okay, I'm done with this toy.
I know.
So I understand why my parents didn't want to invest a lot into.
I feel like that all the time. Like even the kids with their birthday party, they have all this stuff, and I'm like, they've barely played with any of it.
Right.
Like it's great that they got it, and people were really generous. I was really surprised.
Wow. Wow.
I'm like, I feel bad because I am not that. I'm still give good gifts, but I'm like, in this
Yeah.
economy, I have to be mindful when the kids
Well,
are getting
yeah,
invited to like
and I
multiple.
know that they're getting invited to like at least a party a week.
They
kind
got
of
they
thing.
get invited to parties so often, so I try and keep it within a budget of $20.
Right.
Because that's the
They're
only
super popular.
they're super. My children are super popular.
If there was a social page, they would be on.
Oh my goodness, it's
Remember those in the newspaper? You'd
the
the
social
social page.
Yeah, once again, you're showing your dick. 'Cause I'm thinking immediately I went to social media.
I know.
And so-
I know. I felt like I have to explain
You
this.
do have to explain this. I mean, well, at that point, we didn't read the newspaper as much when we were younger. You still, I mean, the newspaper, but I didn't, by the time I was at the age to read the newspaper, you didn't read the newspaper. You
Yeah.
read other things.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, at time like newspapers are a dying,
They're very,
breed.
yeah.
But I mean, we're thinking about doing Reddit sort of.
Yeah, sorry, we have
things.
Reddit stories. We've gone on a tangent.
And we will. This is what this is about.
Yeah.
So, Catherine, who is more up to date than I am on these kind of things, said,
date.
"Why don't
Feel
we
like
look
not
at
that.
some Reddit stories?" And
Yeah.
we've got one that's very timely because
Yes.
it's about Halloween,
Yeah,
or
Halloween comes-
Samhain.
Yes.
If anyone doesn't know how to pronounce that Celtic word for Halloween, it's Samhain.
That's good to know,
that-
because I wouldn't probably not say that.
No, most people, I couldn't because it's spelled like Samham or
Sam-
something, Sanham or something like that. Because the Celtic people and Gaelic languages like this too, they put in letters that have no business being where they are.
At least in our brain.
and the pronunciation does not
Not
make
phonetic
any,
at all, is
no,
it?
not at all, not at all. So the Mohawk language is like that too. So
Yeah. All language is made up, so really there should be no logic to any.
yeah, I mean English too is a bit of a dog's breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Because it drew from all kinds of different roots, French,
Well, then you've got like
German.
the UK English, and then you got American English, and then
Yes.
you've got a bit of Canadian English.
Yeah, you've got all the dialects as well. I mean, look at the states. I mean, there's Southern, United States, and then there's the Brooklyn accent, and then there's the Boston accent. I'm not doing these accents, by the way. So
As she tries to intimidate each accent while she's doing imitate.
Texas accent, but I'm doing it all in the same way. Boston accent, Texas accent,
Apparently, they all move their arms like this, so they're all in the musical.
the Southern. I do that a little bit
I
better.
was gonna say the Southern. Good job.
Yay!
Now you can be cast in a Southern movie.
Yes, I'll put that on my resume. I have an extremely good Southern accent.
But only when you say Southern. You can
Only when I say
you can only say the word Southern in a Southern accent. So very niche, very
very niche, yes.
very niche.
Limited dialogue.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like thinking about that.
So we have a story.
So we found a story, very timely. It's about costumes. So
costumes.
costumes.
Couples costumes.
Couples costumes.
So listen to the story.
Yes. Am I the asshole for telling my husband he shouldn't do matching Ken and Barbie costumes with his female coworker? This comes from, who does it come from? Does it say the original post? It does not say who the original person was from. My husband has an employee with whom he works really closely. He is her boss, and then she is the boss for many other of his employees in the office. They travel and spend a lot of time together. We've all spent time together, and I am confident he is not interested in her, and nothing is going on romantically between them. However, their office is having a Halloween party, and she is asking him to be Ken, and she'll be the matching Barbie. She sent him a link to the costume. She included me in the group chat about coordinating their matching costumes. I'm not invited to the party. It's just at work during the work day. I think there's a costume competition she wants to win. I told him privately I don't like the optics of them being matching Ken and Barbie when they are already publicly when they already publicly travel and spend so much time together. His idea of fixing it was sending an email to their smaller team of 6, sharing the costume link and the statement, Mary and I are wearing this. You all should consider getting it too, and we can all match at the big party. I said instead of fixing the problem of the bad optics, he just announced to everyone in writing that they got matching Ken Barbie costumes on purpose and made it worse. No optics fixed. I do acknowledge the whole office matching at the big corporate party would be cute if the smaller team decides to invest the $50 each to match. It's better than those two had just showed up at the big corporate party as matching Ken and Barbie. There's more comments, but we can just stop there and talk.
Yeah, talk a little bit.
I thought, by the title, I thought it was going to be way worse.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I get her hesitation.
Yeah.
Because there is that impression.
Well, you don't typically do couples costumes. I mean, you don't. Ken and Barbie are obviously the guy. I mean, I know technically they broke up.
Did they? I haven't seen the
break up?
movie. Movie spoiler.
No, not movie spoiler. Well, I mean, in the movie they're not together either. I mean,
right.
Movies.
Haven't seen the movie yet.
But
so.
like Ken and Barbie, like wasn't there a thing that like what? At one point when Barbie came out, it's like I've broken up with Ken. Like, wasn't that a thing?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't keep up on the Barbie and
Well,
Ken
neither
news.
do I. But I feel like I thought that was a thing. Maybe I'm wrong. People can tell me in the comments. But I'm pretty sure like they broke up.
Okay.
But still, like Ken and Barbie are considered like a couple romantic.
Right. Yeah.
Like you don't go.
I mean, those who haven't heard the news assume that Ken and Barbie.
Yeah.
Are
Well,
together.
even if they did break up, you still know that they were a couple at some point. So
Ken.
Hi, Barbie. Why does Ken also have a girl voice? Hi,
No,
Barbie.
it was Barbie that was saying. Remember Barbie Girl done by Aqua?
Yeah, I knew what you were doing, but
Ken. Oh, and yeah, you did it in the girl voice. Okay, I got it. I thought you were.
she's catching up. She's catching up.
More coffee.
More
clearly.
coffee. Always have to have coffee. That's not as bad. I thought it was gonna be way worse, but the fact that they're like she knows their friends. She included like
she was
her coworker
included.
included her in the group chat.
Yeah, so it was on the up and up.
So she wasn't like hiding anything. There was no like, oh, I found this out after hearing the costume.
I kind of wonder how pretty is his coworker.
That's a good point.
Because if she's going to be a sexy Barbie,
Could be some insecurity going on. I can get why she feels a little uncomfortable because it would be a little weird. Because
like,
like,
it'd be different if they both had T-Rex costumes and were going as a pair of T-Rexes.
yeah,
You know, those big
yeah, something
dinosaurs.
kind of funny. Like I think
Yeah.
that's different. Like or two minions or something, or like
or a
something.
banana and an apple.
Yeah,
you know,
or
something-
exactly, or peanut butter and jelly, even. You know, like something that's
or a
like
pair of dice, like you and
pair
your
of
brother
dice, yeah.
did.
yes, and the bride and groom, she did that for as well. You know, that's not weird.
They're
with-
young. Your brother had a tuxedo costume.
Literally the only reason why she did. Your brother had a tuxedo, so of course you had to be a bride. It
Nobody
only made
knew
sense.
they were brother and sister at the time.
That seems even worse. I have these two random children I found, and I dress them up as bride and groom.
And you were in the the stroller the whole time, so you had your little carriage. I had wedding bells.
Oh my god,
Oh, no,
so
it's-
extra. I wonder where I get it from. My god.
I thought it was hilarious.
That is, I honestly, I do agree. That is funny, but this is just like telling people, I was once a bride and groom with my brother.
You could do the same thing for the girls. One
That-
of them could be the groom. One of
I
them
should have
could-
done that when they were little.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
That'd be hilarious.
Except for I just did lame old skeletons, you know?
Oh well, skeletons are cool. So,
Yeah. But yeah, even a pair of skeletons you could do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but I think because Barbie and Ken are considered like the, like, you know, when you think of famous couples, let's say,
Yes.
Barbie and Ken come up as like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a famous couple.
Yeah,
Romantic
yeah.
couple.
And it's the, what are you telling your work people?
Yeah.
You're putting those two together, even if she is his work wife
Yeah.
or whatever as people say, still. And again, like how sexy is this costume? gonna
Yeah,
get
and
on
is she
her
single?
end?
Maybe she's feeling insecure because maybe she is the
Maybe
the-
she's trying to send the signs of, hey, look at me.
Well, I was thinking more like is she feeling insecure because the person's single and maybe she's attractive and
Oh,
feeling like
yeah, could be.
because she's single and she's kind of
like the wife is
yeah
feeling.
she's available even though like she included her. I think she was like she included her in the group chat. Maybe although by doing that maybe you realize the optics yourself. Like his coworker who was going to be Barbie.
Yeah.
Maybe like the fact that you included her in the group chat about the costume, it makes it seem like you maybe realize this might be an uncomfortable costume.
Absolutely. And the fact that she included her and his wife in the chat, did that happen after the husband told the wife? Or
Oh,
before?
I think it was. She said before because I think she said like that's when she found out. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay. Like the
Yeah, she
time-
sent him a link to the costume and included me in the group chat about coordinating their matching costumes. But it does seem weird.
because maybe the husband wouldn't have mentioned it at all.
Yeah, maybe.
And, this was his way of having a difficult conversation,
Yeah.
knowing that his wife might go, yeah, no, I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It
It does seem like, well, I feel like you already know maybe it's a bit uncomfortable if you had to already include in the chat because you're trying to be open and frank,
Yeah.
knowing that there might be some weirdness. If it already feels like it might be weird, maybe just don't do it.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't mind his solution of let's everybody dress as Barbie and Ken
Yeah.
and just make it a hilarious thing,
Yeah.
right? That
If that was the plan to be the beginning and you could all dress up as funny Barbie and Kens.
yeah.
Because the kids watch like different YouTubes and there's been channels like that where they all dress up as different Barbie and Kens, like Malibu Barbie and whatever. I
Yeah,
can't think of
yeah.
all the different Barbies. Apparently Malibu
But
Barbie.
in the office, you're different things. Like I'm photocopying Ken. or
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like-
So like if that was the plan at the beginning, that would be funny, but it kind
Yeah.
of felt like you were just trying to fix the problem, which obviously that's the whole point.
yeah, yeah.
But it also shows like he doesn't he still wants to be Ken.
In a weird way, he looks like a wimp to me because first of all, the wife, got the link in this group chat.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like he didn't really discuss it over the dinner table, so to speak.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, by the way.
That's true because she was a link and then they had it in the chat.
And
like,
then he didn't want to talk to the Barbie at work
Yeah.
because then he said, well, why don't we all do it?
because they obviously must have had chat before because why else would she send a link?
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. But he didn't want to turn her down.
No.
He has a hard time with difficult conversations, it
Exactly.
sounds like.
Which seems weird when you're a boss. Here's some relevant comments, and then we have an update. So one relevant comment by BJane759, not the asshole, but between them traveling together, spending a lot of time together, and now her wanting to to them to dress up as a couple. Are you absolutely sure nothing else is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
OP replied, I'm sure. I travel with him too because it's fun and I can do my job from anywhere. He spends all his free time with me and our kids. I don't know if his entire office knows that I'm there on the trips though, so I think the whole picture to outsiders, especially his employees, could look iffy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, so she clearly understands that there's no issues between their relationship as far as we understand. There's no,
no,
like,
but again, it's the impression that
it
you're
is an
giving.
impression. There is, like, you know.
And it's a slightly inappropriate impression.
Well, yeah.
Especially since it's a boss-employee relationship.
Well, exactly. And she's also a boss to other people. So it's just like, I can see what she's saying with the optics. It just seemed like a little weird. Once again, you can do a matching costume, but maybe don't do what would be considered like a famous couple.
Yeah.
That's
or,
romantic.
you know, like the doctor and the sexy nurse. Like,
Yeah, like weird things that would be considered like a couple
where
romantic
where it's there's a
costumes.
sexual element
Yeah,
to it.
there's
right.
lots of funny matching costumes. You could be
Yep.
Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
That would be a really funny one.
That'd be hilarious.
That
I'd
would be
love that.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of other ones, but something like that where it's like, oh, it doesn't have that.
Fred and Barney.
Oh my god. So update. He's this post has gotten so much input and I'm grateful. He's a grown man who has come really far in his career, making his own decisions. I feel like I share my opinion with him, and then it's up to him. He knows his office and team, and I hope he's right that it doesn't reflect poorly on him or her. I still think it does, but it's not my career or my office, and I'm letting it go, deferring to his judgment. And there's a second update. I tried to defer to his judgment and let it go. We talked about it today, among other topics, and he said they're the only two matching. Exactly. The only two in big boxes, and I realize I still think it's a bad idea, and we just can't talk about it because I don't respect his decision like I want to. I told him I don't trust her judgment or suggestions for things like things they should do together anymore either after this and a couple others she has had over the years. To me, it's like avoiding the tipping point. Why make choices that could possibly move you closer to the point when there's so much you can't control that does, like travel together? I mean, she does make a good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kinda
Why
like-
are you opening yourself up to temptation? Basically?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like everyone says they're not going to cheat, but you know, if
But when you spend enough time with
when you
someone
spend enough time together
that you respect,
and
that
maybe
you like.
I mean, close proximity for trope is a reason because you're close together all the time, and like
Yeah.
you know, maybe you're vulnerable, maybe something happens, maybe you guys get in a fight, maybe you've had too much alcohol or whatever the situation is. I mean,
yeah.
it just
And it's weird because like I've worked in enough workplaces where there's men and women,
yeah.
and almost always there's some romance that blooms.
It's
Because
unavoidable. You're so together all the time.
Yeah, you're doing stuff. You're commiserating together.
Yeah.
You know, personal stuff comes in. You can't help it.
Yeah.
And it affects you, and then you got someone to talk to about
Well,
it.
exactly.
and
Well, 'cause
it
you'll-
just keeps drawing you closer and closer.
Well, exactly, because they're like the support person for you at work, but then naturally it starts to become, well, you're a support person throughout my life too, and I come
Yeah.
to talk to you about other personal stuff. And if you tend to be a person who also talks to them about your relationship, if there's relationship issues, which I mean, you should be kind of mindful about who you talk to about that. But if that's something you do, that will also bring you closer to that
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
Doesn't
and-
mean you're going to cheat, but you know, you
and
can
it's
open
like
yourself
cheating
up.
in small increments, right? Like,
Well, it's emotional cheating, right? Like as they talk about, there's always like usually you have emotional cheating before you have physical cheating.
absolutely.
Especially, I think, in a work situation.
because you are in close proximity.
Yeah.
and you know,
you spend most of your day together, typically.
yeah, unless you're a boss that yells at you every day, then you're like, he's an asshole. But you know, like if you're going out for drinks or do you want to hang out or
Yeah.
you know,
There's
and-
always that social networking kind of aspect in your
Yeah.
work environment, especially depending on the type of job you have.
Yeah,
And if they're
absolutely.
traveling a lot, then obviously
There's
there's going to
some
be more of that.
more social kind of aspect.
Yeah.
You know, there might be meet and greets, there might be, you know,
Dinners
cocktail
or
hours
breakfasts
or-
in the
yeah.
lunches or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's great that he's spending time with his wife and that she can travel with him and he
Yeah.
spends time with his kids as much as he can because, I mean, you got to work,
Yeah.
right? Obviously.
You-
And
you
you
just-
can't have just, you know, all boys work here and all girls work there.
Yeah, yeah. We're not doing that kind
We're
of
not
thing.
we're not in school where they have to be separated. Remember back in the day,
Yeah.
like even the school your girls go to, they have a boys' door and a girls' door because it used to
Oh,
be.
because it used to. Yes, you're right. They do. Just shows how old that school is.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they don't. Everyone uses all the doors.
Yeah, but back
They
in the
still
day
have
it
the
was like,
signs.
yeah, it's like back because it's like stoned
It's
right
stone.
into
It's
the
chipped into the
yeah,
or whatever.
but
not
it's
chipped,
sort
but
of an interesting
historical
nugget of history.
Oh,
Oh,
that was just an alarm on my
Okay.
phone. Sorry.
so it's interesting. Like, God forbid girls and boys come together. you know?
Oh no. I think there's a few more relevant comments.
Okay.
So I don't know. I say Pisa Lee. I don't know if I said that right. Not the asshole, but I'm a little confused. Why do you have a problem with them wearing matching costumes if you're confident there's nothing between them? Especially now that the movie has come out, where it's explicitly stated that Ken and Barbie are not a couple, not in love, and don't even end up in the same universe. It's true. OP, because I think it looks bad for both of them, potentially opens them up for gossip when they already spend so much time together and are assigned trips together. Especially because she already said that they don't know she's joining them.
Yeah, she does. They don't know that.
Nothing is going on between them, and I've seen in office politics, nothing has to be going on for people to talk, speculate, or jump to conclusions. She's right.
Absolutely.
I think he's setting himself up for gossip, and I'm not sure what she was thinking planning
And that
this.
creates an energy.
Well, exactly. And what if I mean, this could just be like I could just be reaching for straws here. But what if she's purposely trying to set that up? I mean,
Yeah,
you
like,
know,
maybe she's all like, "Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
no,
we're
I
friends.
wouldn't-
No, we're
yeah,
friends.
And
But
like
then
she's doing the frenemy thing.
yeah, and
you
then
know,
but she's
by
secretly
including the wife
once again because we
in.
don't know if like she has interest. She knows on her husband's part there's no interest.
Yeah.
but she could have interest, and I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, you know.
OP stopped deferring to his opinion and demand that he not do this. Why shouldn't he do it? Because it makes you uncomfortable. That is the reason. That's true.
That's valid.
That's a really valid, especially when it comes to your partner. If
Yeah.
something makes your partner uncomfortable, you need to find a way to like
Negotiate.
yeah,
that.
find a compromise, find something like you ultimately you want your comfortable partner to be comfortable. And if
Yeah.
they're not, then you have to be like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to sacrifice the things that you want, but at the same time, if it's if it's really not that big of a deal, like
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
tell him you don't like some other woman doing publicly couple things with him. She is setting the precedent that they are the company couple. He can defer to you for once and ask yourself, why is he so hell-bent on doing this when you have told him you don't want him to? Why is it more important than your feelings? OP, thank
True.
you for your comment. I see your reasoning. I have no desire to be or act like his mother, and in this particular instance, what he's doing doesn't directly affect me. He is his own person. It's his office and career to make this what I think is a bad decision, and he's not hurting me or my feelings with it. I don't think he wants to be with her or making her think he does. I just think it's a bad idea.
Okay, so first of all, you're not being his mother by saying you don't want him to wear that
Yeah,
costume.
I mean that's
That's
just
not a mother thing.
no. It's all like you're not trying. It's not coming from a place of control. You're just feeling like I don't like this. I think it's weird, and I don't think it's a smart idea. Also for his business, and it does kind of affect you because if something were to happen in his work environment where maybe his boss don't trust him now because they're hearing the
Or
office
even the gossip.
or the gossip, it affects him or whatever, and it affects people to respect his opinion or whatever the situation, and then maybe he loses that job. Doesn't mean that will lead to it, but
Well,
it could.
Not
or,
only that, but if they see them as a couple at work, gossip could start. Oh, the poor wife.
yeah,
Does she know that
That's
they're,
true.
you
That's
know?
true. That's a good point.
And it's like the wife, I think, has said a couple of times now, even though it doesn't hurt me or my feelings, clearly it does.
I was gonna say
because-
it feels a little bit like denial. Like, oh no, it doesn't. I'm fine. I'm fine.
It's-
I just don't think it's a good for him. It's very much like I'm trying to make it so like viewing it as like it's his idea because I don't think it'd be good for you. Not
Yeah.
like I really don't want you to do this.
Exactly. It's sort of a methinks thou doth protest too much.
Like, yes, exactly. I've definitely put my foot down about some things as we navigated sharing life and raising children over the years. Has as well with me. This doesn't feel like I'm. This just doesn't feel like I'm a clear stakeholder in the consequences when he's so sure it doesn't look bad or hurt him. In the big picture, this one part of one day of his life is probably not a big deal. We'll see if it's a pattern. Oh, and final update. He's not going to wear the matching costume. So it all worked out in the end.
Yay.
He didn't wear I thought that was going to be so much more drama when I first saw the title. I was like, oh my god, it's going to be so juicy. I mean, it was still...
Yeah.
But I mean, that's...
I mean, there's some points that we
I was going to
brought
say,
up there.
and I think it's important anyways, because that's normal stuff. Like, it's not like you have normal problems in your relationship that aren't blown out of proportion, but still...
Yeah.
Maybe
and like, if your partner is feeling... or displaying some insecurities over what you're doing, even if it's misplaced insecurities, you have to take that into account.
You still have to, like, what's more important? Like, making your partner comfortable or doing the whatever it is.
Yeah, and reinforcing that you do love them, that, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, and just, like, clearly communicating, like, what... where is this feeling coming from? Why are you feeling this way? What made you feel this way? Is there something I can do while I can still do this? If I changed, like, altered whatever it is, or change this one thing.
He did offer an option of the group.
Yeah, the group thing.
But then he...
I was supposed to say, and, like, but that's hinged on other people's choices. I think you have to make it so, like, what can I do? Something that only I can control.
Yeah.
And then that situation would be him not wearing the costume.
I think that's the best decision.
Yeah.
Anyways, with all the implications that came with.
Exactly. Especially because it's just a costume. You can wear so many other costumes.
Yeah.
It's really, like, if she wants to be Barbie, she can be Barbie without Ken.
Yeah.
They don't have to be. They don't have to be
Barbie's
matching.
a very independent woman.
Exactly.
She can pet groom and go to.
I was gonna say
space
the whole movie is about how she's supposed to be an independent woman. So, like,
who needs Ken?
Who needs Ken?
And
exactly.
really, Ken doesn't even have a penis, so why do you need Ken? He would have to wear a strap on.
I mean, that works for lots of other people.
Oh, it does,
though,
but it's not quite the same thing. But it's pretty bad if he's supposed to be a guy and he has to wear the strap on.
Well, I mean, let's remind ourselves, though, not all men have penises and do use strap-ons. So, like...
True, yeah.
So,
Yes.
I don't think that's a deterrent.
No, yeah, like if they're transitioning, you mean, or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's a totally different case. But I'm talking about a natural-born kind of male person.
But, I mean, other natural-born people also sometimes wear strap-ons, too.
Oh, okay.
For various reasons. And also extenders on their penis. So, I mean...
Oh, yeah, the extenders have been around since the age of time.
I'm like, I mean, all people use them for all types of reasons.
Yes.
So I don't think that's really a reason to not be like, oh, why would you need Ken? But at the same time, like, the whole point is Barbie's supposed to be an independent person.
Yeah, she's had all kinds of careers over the years.
She's supposed to have lots of careers. She's supposed to be very she has had so many jobs. I think
she's been a doctor, a groomer,
she's a pilot.
Pilot. I think she's gone to space. I'm pretty sure.
I think she's an astronaut. There's a lot of things that she's
done skiing. I had her ski resort when I was a kid.
Ski resort?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I had her camper.
And a camper, yes.
Yeah.
The girls, I think, had a camper or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe they didn't. I could be lying now.
But she's got to be pretty rich because she's buying a lot of
she's
stuff.
She's got a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
So she gets really well paid for all the jobs she does. She must take a lot. She must, like, transition them throughout the year.
Yeah. In
But
April, she's the doctor. In June, she's the astronaut.
Yeah.
It's like, you just get me for a month and then I'm gone to my next job. And then July is dog grooming.
Yeah.
I think she's been a baker too.
She's done it all. I think they
has.
say in the movie how many jobs she has, or at least, or maybe I'm confusing it with the Barbie Dreamhouse TV show. There's a Barbie Dreamhouse TV show, which is actually very funny. It hits well for parents.
Oh, okay. I love those kind of shows.
Yeah,
that
it's really funny.
the parents can kind of get a few.
It's good. I like it, and I think in that show they also specify how many jobs she's had. 'Cause she's like cleaning out her closet or something. I think part of it is like cleaning out all of her
uniforms.
Uniforms, outfits, I guess, for the various jobs she's held. But anyways, it's good. It's funny. But yeah, she could just be Barbie without having him be Ken.
Yeah.
Or would be funnier is be Barbie and then buy a Ken doll. And then you have Barbie and Ken. That would be funnier.
Just keep Ken in your pocket.
Yeah,
exactly. He's here. Boom. There
exactly.
you go.
Then you have Barbie and Ken, and it'd be kind of funny.
That would be
keep
funnier.
him, like, on your desk. I don't know if they have. I'm assuming they have an office building because it's at work day.
Yeah.
Keep at your desk.
Yeah.
I think that would be funnier.
And you could have a few Kens and have what do you call them when it's a harem, but
Oh, reverse
a
harem.
reverse harem?
And there we go.
There we go. Because sometimes it stops it from filming.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I think
so-
it's still going.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
still going,
okay.
but it'll just, when we post the video, it might slow down a little bit.
Oh, you're like.
Yeah, because like, oh, she got a phone call coming in.
I don't know why we're doing the reverse time. Reverse back
Like,
in time.
I didn't actually go back. Oh, yeah, and it's good that you did it because a friend of mine, Diane, told me that as you get older, it's harder for you to do touch screens because your skin gets drier.
Oh.
And so sometimes when I touch the button of whatever it's supposed to do, it doesn't do it.
Your skin's so shriveled up from you
Yes,
slowly
I'm
dying.
so old and pruny.
You need every bit of moisture you need to keep all the organs
And
pumping.
I don't know if it's true or if it was the power of suggestion because ever since she told me that, I'm like, oh, she's right. But I didn't notice it before, so maybe, maybe she was right before that too. But
Just moisturize your hands.
yeah, because
Like
like
get
when,
those gloves you sleep in.
it's right. But when Kayla's here doing the Tarot Delights podcast,
Oh,
she
she
often
usually
has to
push
touch
the stuff.
because I'll go to touch and I'll be like, touch, 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 touch. Okay, it's not working. What's going on?
I will say though, I have noticed that about you because I'll see you being like, "Why isn't this answering?" So maybe it is true. So I'm like, when you said that, I'm like, I do feel you often struggle, but I just always assumed it was your nails,
No, it's my
your
dried
dry,
out
shriveled out skin,
hands.
old lady hands. Not my young, fresh, plump hands full of moisture, even though I barely moisturize my hands.
Speaking of Halloween, are you dressing up this year?
Yeah, I was gonna dress. Well, initially, before I had to spend a bunch of money on the kids' costumes, and well, I didn't actually know the kids are doing the dollar store special this
Nice.
year for costumes.
Nice.
But between their Thanksgiving and then like doing their birthday party,
Yeah.
I didn't get. I was gonna be like the yips, like yip 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 yip.
Oh, yeah.
The aliens. I saw a really cool way of making.
Sesame Street aliens.
Yeah, I was going to do that costume. That's not so another year.
Yeah.
I saw a really cool cosplay and I was like, that's so easy. I could totally make that.
Oh, okay.
But we're not going to be able to do it this year. So instead, I just got like these face tattoos from the dollar store. That's our sugar skulls, which are not,
Oh, okay. Not
from-
actually like that's more May. It's when the
more May. Well, exactly, and not really the most appropriate costume, but they were easy and cheap. And I'm like, well, it's still a little and they're more skeleton-like looking, these ones.
You've got indigenous blood in you. Close enough.
So that apparently just gives me the okay for all cultures.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, South American, they said Mayans, I was watching a documentary, all came from the land bridge from Asia. So we're all the same bloodline.
all
But they just traveled further than, say, the Inuit, for instance. The Inuit went, we're fine here.
this
We're
very,
done walking.
very cold land. I mean, I'm sure maybe it wasn't cold at that point, but like,
Who knows?
who knows what it was? I don't know enough about that stuff, so I cannot.
And the Mohawks crossed Canada and ended up in the New York, Ontario area. So we went a little bit, but we told the Mayans, just keep going.
Just keep on going.
Yeah, just a little further.
It won't be far, I'm sure. We've claimed this area though, so
Yeah,
we have to
this
move
is
on.
ours.
This is ours. We've put our whatever they would stick their rocks.
So
This is-
yeah, we're good to copy anything.
I'm sure that logic really checks out. I'm sure everyone would agree with that.
Oh, I always say, like, come on, like if you're honoring it.
Yeah, I guess the honoring. There's a difference between appreciation and appropriation, right? As they say.
Exactly.
But that was just easy. It was $1.25.
There you go.
So it was a great price. I loved it, and I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, there you go.
And just pair it
because
with
you
a
guys
nice.
usually do pretty elaborate ones.
I like to do elaborate ones, but just with a cost and time. So that even the kids are doing like something simple. Like Lucy wanted to be a vampire.
Okay.
Initially, she wanted to be a bride vampire, but then she's like, "No, I just want to be a vampire." But I think it's because Annabelle said she wanted to be a rainbow bride.
Rainbow Bride.
And so then I was like, all
Lots
right.
of things. Sure.
Yeah. Eventually, I was able to turn her to being a butterfly because I found like these rainbow like fabric wings.
She was showing me the last time I was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
So
are gorgeous.
They're very pretty, super easy to put on, and they were not too expensive from the dollar store once again. So I turned her to that, and she's like, "Oh, that's great." I'm like, "Perfect." And Lacey has like a little cape, and then they're
Nice.
just wearing kind of their regular clothing. I got them like a giant tiger, like a Halloween shirt, which was also affordable.
Nice.
Was on
nice.
sale.
Nice.
So,
Cool.
are you dressing up? Are you guys have anything Halloween?
Well, I
that
was
you're
actually
doing?
gonna see if we could come over and hand out candy at your place.
Yeah, you can for
And
sure.
You guys can go trick or treating.
That is totally cool.
We'll
because we usually
kind of round up afterwards. or
yeah,
whatever.
that's perfect. Because usually we just put out a bowl and I just make a sign like just take one, and I fingers crossed that there's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a jerk that takes more than one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay if you take two occasionally. Oh my god, I keep forgetting all these arms. It's okay if you take two, but then there's some
But
jerks.
there's some guys that go.
Oh yeah, you totally see that. It's such a rude thing to do.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
something inappropriate, but I won't because we're. But
Not for children.
not
folks.
for children. I know, and it's funny because I feel like as a parent, when you do that, you always tell your kids, "Look, only take one," and like my girls are good for listening to that. They know, like, oh, you only take one. Even when they see another kid, like, you're only supposed to take one.
They'll correct them.
Yeah, and like sometimes, occasionally, like if it's a bowl of just free candy,
Yeah, like the
I'll be like-
bubble gum and the
yeah, I'll be like, you
suckers or
can take
whatever.
like 2 or 3, you know, like if
Right,
it's kind
yeah.
of smaller thing or whatever. I'm like, okay, take a couple or take a few. That's okay, especially if it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
more times than not, you see it's like a lot of times in our neighborhood they do like bags of stuff.
Oh yes.
So
And
like
then
you
only
just
take
you just
one.
take one thing and then you move on and you
Yeah.
leave the rest for the others. But there's always
that kid that'll take two.
or like the whole lot. They don't care, and it's just like, or even parents. You see like adults. There's a lot of adults.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That let their kids get away with it or take it
Or
themselves.
take it themselves.
Really?
It's-
Wow.
I saw this one video.
You know, for less than $5, you can buy a whole thing of chocolate bars at the dollar store. Go and do that.
I
Eat
know.
those while you're.
They're just, it's just, well, it just shows, like, I remember seeing this video on Facebook or something, and it seemed like a nicer area, and they had, like, a bowl out, and it looked like full bars.
Oh, the big full bar
The
chocolate
full bars.
Wow.
And literally the mother was racing to beat the children to get to the candy.
Oh,
She's not even dressed. She's just in, like, normal mom clothing, and is grabbing the fistfuls of candy and throwing them in the bag. And, like, the kids are doing the same because they've just learned from their mom
Of
to grab
course. Yeah.
candy. And, like, obviously, when you leave a bowl out, once again, even
You're
without-
running a risk.
you're
Yeah.
running a risk, you know that. But at the same time, logic dictates there's a bit of an etiquette
Yes.
to the procedure. That's why you leave the bowl out.
The
People are-
honor system.
the honor system, but there's not everyone's honorable, right?
No,
And,
unfortunately.
and then there was like another.
Especially thieves. No honor among thieves.
No, exactly.
And essentially, that's what you're doing. You're stealing.
that's 100% what you're doing. You're not. There's a mindful. Like there's a.
But word gets around fast when there's full chocolate bars
Oh,
being handed out.
yeah.
It's like full chocolate bars. The alarm goes up. And
Everybody, full chocolate bars, get your ass over here.
oh my goodness, yeah. And it's getting really expensive to hand out candy.
Oh, very expensive.
You know?
Well, we did a pinata for the kid's birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and it cost me a pretty penny. I filled that sucker up.
Wow.
Although then it was like only 10 pieces per kid, and then he had a whole bunch after, because like some kids were like pulling huge piles, and I'm like, okay,
Oh.
but no, not everyone's gonna get any. So I just like 10 pieces only. I'm sure some kids took more than 10.
Right.
And when I was counting Annabelle's, I was definitely over 10. I was like, well, you're the birthday
But if
girl.
they know, like, to just grab 10 and then.
Yeah, and like some kids were being good and were counting their candy and then bringing back whatever leftovers there were. But you knew there were some kids who weren't, which is fine. But you know, the ideas are, and like
It's not really fine.
it's not really fine. You're kind of, and the people that did do it, I was like, I'm not
I'm
really
judging you.
I'm judging you, but I'm not surprised because I know.
Your character?
Yeah, basically.
Future criminal?
Well, hopefully not. We don't want to assume that for a child, but
Here's your child's loot bag. Good luck with him being in jail
Yeah.
later on.
just showed his true colors. No.
Yeah. Show his
Actually,
true
the
colors
only
with a
boy there was
pinata.
really good. He counted out and then brought his back. But there was some
Aw.
kids that were, I'm like, okay, yeah.
So
And-
you're either stupid and can't count to 10 or you're a future criminal.
Yeah.
This is what I have to say to you.
A combination of one or the other. And then we weren't giving them extra candy. We wanted to make sure everyone had enough
Yeah.
first. Everyone had equal amounts.
Yeah. And then if you had leftover.
Well, yeah, because they
Yeah.
kind of like, because we had to do a drawstring one, and unfortunately the way I did it, I filled it up too much, so I made like 3 sections, and I knew there was supposed to be 3 winners that would come down in each thing. But I stuffed it so much that they wouldn't come out of the divisions I made. So by the end, I just went and ripped it so it would come out.
Lesson learned.
A lesson learned. I'll know next time when I make a pinata. But
Didn't Jamie have a pinata at her?
yeah, she did. But they whacked it. Theirs.
Oh, right.
I didn't want to do that inside.
Oh, what did you do instead?
I did pull like the ribbon. You can do ribbon ones.
Oh,
and
and
then
they
they
just pull
pull
the ribbon.
yeah, they pull the ribbon. So some will just slip right out, and then
Oh,
if you
that's
pull,
cool.
and then the one will actually pull. But the candy, like I said, was too full,
Was
and
like,
I didn't make it like wide enough for the candy to fall out very
okay.
well.
Yeah.
So
The
it is-
candy constipation. That's never
exactly.
good.
But then once I ripped it open, the kids that were close by all of a sudden went like this. I'm like, okay, but that's like a good chunk of the candy.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
piss off, spread the wealth.
Yeah.
And here I was
kids
worried
will do
about
that.
Lucy and Annabelle taking too much, but unfortunately they were near the end of the line because they were the first to go.
Oh.
So once it came to the candy being pulled out,
They were way over there.
they were a little bit further. And then there was another girl who was like being shy and didn't want to come through. So then I went like grabbed her bag and started just shoving candy for her in a bag. Because like, here,
You're
kid.
elbowing kids out of the way.
I was like, here you go. Don't worry, I got you, kid.
You got one kid by the head. No, not you.
Well, there was one girl who was trying because we said like we all agreed that we'll wait till everyone's pulled a thing when candy comes and then we'll go. But there was one girl who
That'll
started.
never happen.
Well,
they get too excited. Right?
most of them were pretty good. But then when there was one girl when one candy came out was ready to go, I'm like no, and all the kids were like no, we've agreed. And I'm like put the candy down, kid.
Oh my God, she's being stoned in the streets.
Yeah, she was. She was like the kids were not happy. There was going to be an uprising there in a moment. But no, everyone got lots of candy, and of course I made sure the girls got extra because I mean I paid for it, so of course I want.
and they're the birthday girls.
They're the
yeah.
birthday girls. They get extra.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think our first anything, everything, and nothing at all went quite well.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
sorry, the story wasn't as exciting as it could have been.
Well,
But
it
that's
was,
what
you
it
know,
is.
it brought up some good points.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want to talk about at all,
Yeah, or us to talk about or stories that you know
yeah,
about or hear
Reddit
about.
stories, like I'd like to hear your opinion on this.
Yeah. Or
then-
even your own personal story if you want to.
Yeah, your own
tell-
personal story.
If you want to give it to us and we can read it anonymously and get
Yep,
opinions if you want that way. Or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so send in your problems, your stories, your he's an asshole or am I the asshole ones.
all those.
All those ones. So subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
Ring the bell so that you'll know when a new one of these come up.
Yes.
We're going to be doing them weekly.
Yeah.
We'll be putting them out on Wednesdays, hopefully.
Yeah,
but we'll
that's-
let you know if it changes.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. Share with your friends too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to let you.
Okay. What do I push here, right?
Yeah.